All right, and we're back. This is Hook and Ladder. We're going to just get right into it. There's so much going on. Let's just go ahead and make it happen. So, this will start off Thursday night. Some interesting games. West Virginia, Pittsburgh. That was a shootout.
It was a fun game to watch. Really liked what JT Daniels was able to do for West Virginia. As wide receivers didn't help him at all. Thought it was a fun game. I thought West Virginia had multiple opportunities to put the game away and couldn't. Pittsburgh came back. Got to give them credit. They came back, played well. Keaton Slovis looked good. Didn't look like a world beater. Just kind of looked like, a little bit more than just a game manager in my opinion. But he looked good. I thought JT looked good. Offense didn't help him out at all. Offensive line included.
A lot of drop balls.
Drop balls. He was getting hammered. But both two USC transfers both played well enough to win the games. It was a fun, entertaining game. Started off that Thursday night.
That's right. Oklahoma State had fits with Central Michigan, 58-44. I think Gordon, some of this game? I don't know.
I watched a little bit. I was flipping back and forth between this one, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Ball State, Tennessee. Oklahoma State can score points. They could score points last year, make it a Big 12 championship game. Oklahoma State's always a solid program, but as we discussed before, they're always going to lose a game or two they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. They never seem to have an overall solid team on both sides of the football. Usually one's better than the other. Last year, I think the defense carried them for the most part. Very underrated defense last year. This year, the defense, obviously, I thought they were going to be good. We talked about them last episode. I liked what they could do. Don't think they're going to win the Big 12, but I thought they'd look better on defense. Right. Thank goodness Spencer Sanders was awesome in this game. Mm-hmm. But, they need to correct some things. A lot of teams need to correct some things.
Yes. Tennessee looked pretty good against Ball State, but that was against Ball State.
Same as last year. Yeah. They blow out the first team they play, and then they go and come back down to earth. That's We'll see what they do this coming week against Pitt. Yeah. At Pitt.
Penn State against Purdue. Penn State pulls one out. Yeah.
Penn State. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little too harsh on them when we do these videos, but there's nothing I see from Penn State that's good.
They should be better than they are.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game. Quarterback's throwing overthrows, pick six. Thought Purdue really was going to win it at that point. I think they went up like 31-28. Clifford was a horrible throw. He was overthrowing guys over the middle all day long. But watching the game, every time the announcer was like, oh, this is so-and-so, a four-star recruit, four-star linebacker. Their stud linebacker, freshman kid, true freshman, gets kicked out for targeting. Kind of a nitpicky call. I kind of thought he got his arm up there. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Poor kid goes out in his first action, first series that he's in. But these are always four-star kids. And they should be way better than they are. And I know Franklin's a pretty good coach. Mm-hmm. I still remember what he did at Vanderbilt. He can coach. He can recruit. For some reason, they're just middle of the road. He's almost like the Mark Richt of Penn State. They're pretty good, but they're never going to be great.
Right. Might win 10 games, might win 8.
Yeah.
Who knows? Friday night, Virginia Tech lost to Old Dominion at Old Dominion. Yeah.
What happened to Virginia Tech? I'll tell you what happened to Virginia Tech. The Tidewater area, the coast, what is it, like, whatever, the Virginia Beach, that area of Virginia, where what's his face? Michael Vick is from, that area. That's a hotbed of recruiting. They're not landing all the kids from that area like they used to. All these other schools are coming in and taking some of the top-rated kids out of that, that Virginia area there. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's happening to them. They're just not getting the level of players they did at one time, but you never supposed to lose to Old Dominion.
And you don't schedule a game against a non-Power 5 conference school on the road and then lose.
Yeah.
That's never a good play. Indiana against Illinois. Indiana knocked them off. Is that right?
Yeah, Brett Bielema made some boneheaded calls in this game. Really bad calls. Cost him the game, in my opinion. And it was sort of a back and forth kind of game, but I thought Illinois had it in hand a couple times, and the game ends, and Brett Bielema just kind of got that stupid look on his face, like, what happened? And I looked at him as the main cause they lost.
There was a lot of bonehead coaching mistakes over the weekend.
Yes, there
We'll get to
was.
those a little later
Yes,
on.
there was.
Notre Dame lost to Ohio State 21-10. This was Saturday. We didn't see this game. We were at the
I
concert.
watched it yesterday.
Okay.
I watched it yesterday morning. I woke up. I was feeling pretty rough from the night before. So I watched a couple of games yesterday morning.
I toned it down. He kept on. I was driving. So.
I tossed him back Saturday night. Anyway, I watched this. I know, like, I got a couple of buddies that were there. Probably neither one of them watched, or none of them watched this program. But I got a few buddies who were there, and I know they were kind of concerned with the lack of offensive firepower. But Notre Dame's a good football team.
Right.
They're not just going to roll over and die, but Ohio State pulled out a scoring drive when they needed to and clamped down defensively. The defense for Ohio State, in my opinion, was the story of the game. They played pretty damn good. I thought the whole game, I know the second half, they really shut them down, but I thought the whole game the defense played pretty well. They'll be rolling. You know, it's week one. Teams sometimes like
kinks.
Notre Dame and Ohio State, they didn't get a cupcake for week one. They got to play a top 5 matchup. Not an easy thing to do.
No.
So yeah, they're not. I'm not really expecting teams to put up 50 points against this type of competition. That being said, I really did think Ohio State was going to blow them out of the water. Didn't happen, but they still got a quality win.
Speaking of top teams in the nation, Alabama beat Utah State 55-0. That was not much of a game.
And I think Bryce Young set like an Alabama record for like most touchdown passes, like either in a game or in a half or something like that.
Another dominant performance by
Yeah,
him.
they just keep doing what they've been doing.
Georgia, in a dominant performance against Oregon, defeats Oregon 49-3. Stetson Bennett 368 yards passing.
I didn't think Georgia was going to win by this much, but I thought it was going to end up being like 30 to like 10, maybe 36, 37 to like 17. I thought Georgia was going to beat them by double digits. Might look a little closer on the score sheet than it was, but I didn't think it was going to be like this.
Total domination.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, and the reason why I thought they were going to win pretty
handed
easily, was I kind of didn't see Oregon being a threat. I mean, Bo Nix was starting quarterback. We all know in the SEC what Bo Nix is, and he is not a good quarterback. I really am shocked that he's even playing Division I football. He's just not good. But the level of the talent level is huge difference, way off. So I knew Georgia was going to win. I didn't think it was going to be this dominant. I was really impressed with Georgia's offense. Defensively, you can just look at them. You know, watching all those games last year, you kind of got to kind of know what was coming next, you know, depending on the down and distance and, you know, not really anticipating the other team making the first down. Oregon moved the football on them on 3 or 4 of the drives and couldn't get points. You know, they got a field goal on one. Bo Nix threw a pick, I think, inside the red zone, or the ball was picked in the red zone. I think the throw came from just outside. But they moved the football on Georgia. They ran the ball pretty decently. They threw it. Second half, they couldn't do anything really. They had one drive where they got inside the 10, and Georgia stopped them on 4th down to negate any points. But you can kind of see that defense isn't what it was last year, and it shouldn't have been. They lost 8 guys from that defense. 5 of them were drafted in the first round. It's gonna take some growing pains, just like everybody else.
But they definitely have some pieces on
They got some players. It's just gonna take them. You can tell certain little pass plays, they weren't in the right position. These are all young guys like the Malachi Starks with the pick, the highlight reel pick that everyone's seeing on ESPN. That kid's a true freshman. They're playing a bunch of. They had 2 true freshmen playing on the D line. They had a couple of redshirt freshmen playing linebacker. Young dudes, you know.
They're going to step up. And they're going to make some plays.
Highly recruited guys. They're just not there yet, so you kind of tell they were a little off. But the offense is completely dominant. Did whatever they wanted to.
Yeah. Florida against Utah. This was always, to me, this seemed like a weird matchup. Florida knocked off Utah 29-26, but Utah coming to the Swamp early September, that doesn't seem like a good matchup, even though it was a night game.
Unranked Florida team takes down a top 10 team.
Right.
That's basically what the media is talking about. They're all talking about Anthony Richardson. I knew Anthony Richardson was talented. Didn't do a whole lot under the QB whisperer Dan Mullen last year, but he looked pretty good. I watched some of this game yesterday morning as well. his main threat to me is him running the football. He ran three touchdowns. Utah was in the game. I mean, it was just a really good game. Went down to the end. They threw a pick in the end zone to end it when they could have won the thing.
Right.
Could have kicked a field goal, to tie it up, and they were going for the win. And the guy threw an interception in the end zone. So it was not a blowout by Florida, but I kind of think everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, Florida's back," and I'm like,
We'll see.
this is the kind of game that's going to make the anti-SEC people flip out because a seemingly, like I said, unranked versus top 10
Yes.
Utah team. I just didn't think that, and there was a lot of positions that Florida had better athletes than
Right.
Utah. And you can see it watching the game. I watched basically the second half.
And I think the humidity probably played a factor in that game
Most
at some
likely.
point. They don't have those conditions in Utah like they got.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rising actually played pretty well. The lines of scrimmage, it was kind of Florida, I think, seemed to kind of win the lines of scrimmage battle.
And another exciting game that took place over the weekend, Arkansas against Cincinnati. We've seen parts of this when we were at Marlowe's Tavern, just outside of the Gwinnett Center. Let's see, 31-24, Arkansas beats a ranked Cincinnati team. That's a big win.
Yeah,
St.
I mean,
Pitt.
Cincinnati going on the road playing ranked Arkansas team in a hostile environment. I thought Arkansas was going to win a little bit easier than they did, and really they should have. There was a lot of miscues by Cincinnati. I think they threw a couple interceptions. One of them was in the red zone, and they just left points on the field. Arkansas didn't look super impressive to me. They had to make a drive late to seal the win, but I mean they covered the spread. Win's a win, I guess. I just thought Arkansas was going to be a little bit better than they were, but it's game one.
First game of the
Everybody get the
season.
kinks out. I think Cincinnati, look, non-conference game for both teams, but Cincinnati is well in, I don't want to say in hand to win that conference, but as they say, all our gold is still in front of us.
That's right. A crazy game, North Carolina against Appalachian State. I thought this game was over several times. Appalachian State scored like 40 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Something stupid like
Chase
that.
Bryce, I think it was like his fifth school. Former five-star, if I'm not mistaken, Chase Bryce, quarterback at Appalachian State, just made throw after throw after throw. Wide receivers made plays. Like I said, 40 points in the fourth quarter. North Carolina. I'm not high on him again this year. I'm not high on him this year like I was the last 2 years. Gene Chizik, what is he doing with that defense? They're terrible. Yeah, they can score points, but if they continue to do this on defense, they're going to go up against multiple teams that can outscore them and play better defense. So they need to get things turned around, but man, they're exciting to watch.
Yes.
QB was Hayes, is pretty damn good. I watched him in the first week, that week 0 game. He looked really good, but he can throw the football. They've got a couple of good young running backs, but damn, that defense is terrible.
It's pretty horrible. Let's talk about last night's game. Florida State, LSU.
Oh, hold on, before we get there,
Okay.
Louisville lost to Syracuse.
Okay.
And the only reason I really want to touch on this game is because Louisville is really utilizing the NIL. They've got a 5-star running back. They've got one of the best offensive linemen in the country. They're getting some guys. They need to win some games because I don't know if these dudes are going to end up sticking around for what this game looked like is a team that is only going to win 3 games all year.
Sloppy.
They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. So that's the reason I wanted to touch on it because we talked about NIL the last couple of videos, and Louisville's really doing a good job with NIL. I gotta say they've got to win games. Is NIL going to be the deal where you can go 0-12, and if you can give the guy millions of dollars, it's still going to come? I don't know if that's the case, but they need to win some games. They look so bad, and Syracuse isn't this juggernaut either.
All right, now back to last night's game, Florida State against LSU. Florida State knocks off LSU 24-23. It was an exciting game, to say the least.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Florida State's finally found themselves a QB. That's good. He looked really good.
Jordan
Running the
Travis,
football,
270
throwing
yards
the football. They've got some good skill guys at wide receiver and running back. I thought they had 3 really good wide receivers play yesterday. They made a lot of third down conversions. I know LSU lost Mason Smith early. quarterback for LSU is really bad. I mean, he can run the football. I'll give him credit. Didn't take many sacks. I think they sacked him like 2 or 3 times, but he was killing them running the football.
He was their offense. Right?
He was. He really was. And I mean, they couldn't throw, and you could see Kayshon Boutte getting all kind of, body language wasn't what you'd like to see if you were a player or coach on that team or a fan. But, I kind of got into discussion on the group last night during this game, and they're like, well, LSU's trash. I'm like, yeah, but I still think Florida State looks a hell of a lot better than they have the last couple years. I don't care how bad LSU was looking on defense. Florida State just looked like a better football team than we've seen.
LSU just looked really sloppy last night. They couldn't do anything right. There were some plays late in the game that really didn't make any sense. Fumbles when you really can't be fumbling the ball.
Two muffed punts by a very, very sure-handed wide receiver in Malik Neighbors. Their running back, Noah Kane, is a Penn State 4-star running back recruit. Penn State commit, and he transferred after I think 2 years at Penn State. He ran fairly well. Defense kind of looked out of sorts. For a little while, they were stopping the run game for Florida State pretty well, but they couldn't stop the passing game. And this is a team full of 4- and 5-star players. Really shocked that they looked that bad. Really shocked that they can't find a quarterback, because I thought the kid that transferred to, I think it was A&M, Max Johnson, I thought he was pretty good, last year. What spectacular, but at least it had to be better than what they had in this kid yesterday. Daniels, Jaden Daniels, but I mean, story of the game, in my opinion, was that dude Verse. And I hadn't heard of him, but he's a dude playing at like Albany State. And Florida State was studying film on Syracuse, and this kid just jumped off the film at him. And they go and offer him, and he made a bunch of plays yesterday. He was probably Florida State's best defensive player. So, fun game to watch.
And they still had a chance. LSU still had a chance to win at the very end.
Should go kick the extra point, go to overtime. It was second block kick of the game. I mean, I was happy because I thought Florida State deserved to win.
Right.
Really boneheaded play call there by going for it on 4th instead of kicking the surefire field goal. Led to what we saw at the end with LSU almost coming back and tying it up. But that's a great game. I think I tweeted college football, I freaking love you after that game. Just a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State tried to give that game away several times on that last drive, and it's amazing to me. There was the play where guy went out of bounds. They thought he went out, and his knee touched the ground before he went out of bounds. But Norvell calls a timeout.
Well, it would have been clock stopped anyway because of a first down.
Right, but it was 1 second left of the clock, and it started up, and the minute the ball hit the ground. So they won the game, and with not knowing the situation, calls a timeout. And still almost lost, but hey.
Really, really fun game, though.
Yes.
I enjoyed the hell out of that one. And it's sometimes not having a dog in the fight, you can just sit back and enjoy the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of good games this past weekend.
There was. But I thought Michigan, I kind of dogged them out a little bit a few videos ago. I didn't think they were going to be that good, losing all those guys on defense. And the defense looked better to me. They ran in the football, gang tackled. Their offense looked pretty good. I thought McNamara looked pretty good. The running backs looked good. I'm sorry, Michigan fans. They're a lot better, or they looked a lot better week 1. Because it's not getting too carried away. It's week 1, but they looked a hell of a lot better than I thought they were going to.
That's right. There's a game tonight.
Yeah, Clemson, Georgia Tech.
8 o'clock. You can get a ticket for $64 at the Mercedes-Benz.
This is the final, what they call nightcap of the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic. There's always 2 of them, the Saturday and the Monday. And this is weird, though, that it's 2 ACC teams playing each other. I don't expect Georgia Tech to really be able to hang in this game. But I'm interested to see how DJ looks. Is he going to have a progression from last year? He was pretty awful last year. Is he going to look a lot better? How's that defensive line for Clemson?
Right.
Are they going to be just as dominant? I think they will. How are they going to replace those linebackers? So we'll kind of see how it looks. I think, what is it? Oh, God, I forgot the name of the linebacker they've got. Really, really good middle linebacker, a young kid. Forgot the name of him. It's from Georgia. Played at Buford or something like that. Anyway, that kid looked pretty good last year. See how he looks this year. So we'll watch it. Should be a fun game. Should be a blowout. I'm picking Clemson to win by 20.
Yeah, I would assume. So you want to talk about next week's games?
Yeah.
All right. So high noon next Saturday we got Alabama against Texas.
That's a noon kick. That's so stupid.
I don't know.
That's a 7 o'clock primetime ABC slot right there. But no, they're gonna put it on Fox at noon.
Yeah. And you get a ticket for $25 at Texas Memorial Stadium right now for that game.
Probably the holds like 500,000 people.
That's true. Let's see who else we got going
And
on.
Miami's playing Southern Miss. Miami looked really good Saturday.
Yeah, they
put
did
up
look
a
good.
boatload of points. Restrepo caught, I think, a couple touchdown passes. Dude's been there seemingly for like 12 years.
Right. You got Arkansas against South Carolina. Could be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Rattler looks. He didn't look so good the first game. I'm interested to see how he looks against an actual team that can pass rush the kid. As we all know, Spencer Rattler, a highly talented quarterback, transferred from Oklahoma. Kind of a problem with him, though, is he gets rattled very easy by pressure.
Right.
So we'll see what Arkansas can do to him.
We'll definitely see. Wake Forest is going to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's got a chance to be 3-0.
Yeah, Vanderbilt looks pretty good. The quarterback looks really good. Mike Wright.
Missouri's playing Kansas State in Kansas State, Manhattan.
Kansas State's going to beat him.
Yeah, probably so. Let's see what else we got. We got North Carolina at Georgia State. What are they doing? Why do you keep playing these games? They played at Appalachian State last week, and they're now North Carolina's going to Georgia State this week.
Yep. I wouldn't mind. We talked about that the other day, going to a game at Georgia State, just up the road.
Yeah, it could be kind of nice. Let's see, Appalachian State's going to Texas A&M. That's a 3:30 game.
Yeah, I want to see what they do again. I know they looked a little sluggish first half of last week. Really turned it on in the second half. So the score looked a little bit better when you got a top 10 team playing an unranked team. You want to win by like 30 to 40 points. But they looked kind of sluggish. So I'm interested to see. App State's a fairly decent football team. I'm interested to see what they got going on there. That Tennessee at Pitt, 3:30 kick. We're going to miss that game because we're going to be at the Georgia game. But that's the game I want to see. I'm going to record it and watch it probably late Saturday night or Sunday morning. But I want to see how they do. They lost to Pitt last year.
Yeah.
If Tennessee is for real, and Pitt's not an awesome team by any stretch of the imagination, they're a solid football team. They should do something in the ACC.
That's right.
I want to see how Tennessee handles Pitt.
This is a good measure of where Tennessee is.
Exactly, because I think Tennessee's got Florida like in 2 weeks after that. So
we'll see. See what else we got going on. We got Iowa State, Iowa. Could be interesting.
yeah, I think they're gonna. They might forget that that's a football game and think it's a wrestling match, and think 5 points is enough to win.
Virginia at Illinois. Let's see what else we got.
They'll be good at night.
You got Kansas against West Virginia.
See West Virginia bounce back. Oh, there we go. There we go. Number 20, Kentucky in the swamp against what Florida's going to have to be ranked.
Yes.
When the rankings come out tomorrow, beating the number 6 team, 7 team in the country. Kentucky, they looked okay the other night. This should be a good one. I think Florida is actually a favorite in this game, if I'm not mistaken. They're a 3-point favorite. Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, a lot of people picking Kentucky to finish second in the East behind Georgia.
We'll see. We'll find out.
This is a game that if Kentucky is going to be legit, which everyone's talking about Will Levis and how great he can be this year, and I don't see it. I don't see it at all with Kentucky. But if they're going to do what kind of like the media has been thinking they can do, they've got to beat Florida.
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think Florida's going to take them. I actually think Florida's going to be really, I don't want to say really good. They're going to be decent this year, a lot better than people thought they were going to be.
Right. Let's see. There's one more we want to talk about. We got Arizona State, Oklahoma State. It's not a conference matchup.
Really decent.
USC at Stanford.
Can they both lose? I hate Stanford with a passion. I don't like USC either, but their defense looked pretty good. That was the it looked like it was going to be the Achilles heel of the Trojans, and the defense looked pretty good. So, got to see what Lincoln Riley can do there on defense. We know they're all going to score. That looks like a damn good game. What time is that? 10:15 at night.
BYU versus Baylor.
Number 10 Baylor at number 25 BYU. BYU always has a decent football team.
Could be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, Baylor. I'm not really high on Baylor. I know I kind of skipped over them last week. We were talking about our conference champions, but that should be a fun game. Kind of good barometer to see where both of them at because BYU plays hard.
Yeah. Here's another interesting one. Mississippi State at Arizona. That's 11 o'clock
11 o'clock
start.
at night. Shit. Gonna have to.
Be a
It's gonna be a long
long
day.
night.
Getting up early to go to Athens and then coming back and watching these two games.
Should be fun.
I might sleep till noon on Sunday.
Yeah, kind of like the calm before the storm next week. There's some interesting matchups, but there's nothing big that's jumping off the page except for that Alabama-Texas matchup, which I'm not expecting much of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really either. I mean, Quinn Ewers looked okay the other day. I think it's gonna kind of be a bloodbath, to be honest with you. I know Sarkisian's a good coach, does well with offense, but they just don't have the guys just yet. They need this recruiting class they've got coming in with Arch Manning. They're loaded. They're loaded a lot of the key positions. I think you give Sark another 2 years. Maybe next year they'll be pretty damn good. I expect them to be much improved from last year, but not that hard to do.
Right.
But yeah, it's week 2. Just a handful of really good games before you start seeing a lot of conference play going forward. But there's a handful of games here I'm really excited to check out. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss a couple of ones I really wanted to see. But those night games look pretty good. I'm going to definitely have to watch some of those.
We're back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
All right.
Excited.
Yes,
Football
sir.
is back.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, that concludes this week's episode. We'll be back with you next Sunday with more reviews of the games.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good day.
See you.